Hey everyone and welcome back to the Thinking Pilot. I'm Dr. Amay Parekh. So I've been creating Instagram content since maybe I think 2019, and now every time I've been working, I've upgraded the way I work, the video shooting style, the aesthetics, and a lot of times people ask me, how do you shoot these aesthetic videos? What's the equipment that you use? People like the new setup that I've been using. So I thought, why not in fact record a video where I'll explain in detail about exactly what I use, how I set the entire flat lay, how I set the entire background, what equipment that I use, when I change the camera, all the details that I can possibly give you. So this is going to be a complete package where you learn whatever I use in the exact way that I use it. Don't forget to like the video if you already haven't liked it yet. Remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon if you still haven't done that, because you get a new video every Wednesday and Sunday. We are going to go into absolute detail. See to that you watch the video till the end to get maximum benefit out of it. We are going to cover everything. Not only that, once we've shown you everything, we're going to answer all the questions that we have been getting on Instagram from our followers. So today, I hope in this video, I am able to give you the maximum benefit and you will know exactly how I shoot, record, edit, and actually have my entire videos created for social media content. So keep watching. The first thing, of course, you require is a phone. I use an Android F19 Oppo. Most of the cameras these days are really excellent. You can use what works for you. I would highly recommend that before you start, always clean the lens so that way you'll get maximum clarity. Now when you're setting the cameras, there are a couple of things that you need to check. The first thing you need to check for is this, which is the resolution. See to it that you're at least recording in a 1080. That will give you maximum clarity. Additional settings may include FPS, okay, that's frames per second. So if you have those seconds, you can keep it at 30 seconds or higher. So whatever camera you're using, see to it that it is much more clearer. So whenever you're drawing or sketching, see to it that what is the resolution you're looking at. If you need to anytime autofocus or lock the focus, just press the area and you will find that it locks in that place also. I also have a second phone, which of course I'm recording this on. That's my Samsung A73. And I use a combination of both the phones to record my reels. Having two phones makes the advantage that I can keep one on the tripod and one I can use to shoot the reels. Now let's talk about the tripod that I use. So this is the Amazon Basics tripod. It's got extended length, so I can actually raise it up quite high. You can shift it left and right, up and down. You can rotate this. So it's a very good tripod to use. It's not very expensive also. And I have a Solimo mount. I got this as a combination and it works really well. So you can see that's my setup. I can adjust the angle, make it up and down. So that's very, very advantageous. I also have this gooseneck tripod, which you can see. Now this is kind of advantageous because I can actually shift it, rotate it, bend it. However, the problem is, can you see how much it shakes? So I kind of use it only when I need to, especially when I'm working a long process reel or a video. That's when I use this. Otherwise I prefer to use my other tripod as much as possible. And most of the times what I usually do is I just take my phone on my left hand when I'm painting, especially if I'm recording reels, and I just keep the phone and use that, right? So that's how I work and I'm quite used to it. You can also just use a phone stand, or you can in fact even sometimes just keep a phone. And just show you a jugaad. You can actually keep your phone like this to record a reel. So you have a box or something and you can just keep the phone on the side, and that works also perfectly fine. These are the three stands that I commonly use in my works. Let's now come to the background. So as you guys can see, I have a flat lay, which is a paper, and it's a double-sided paper. This is also something that I ordered from Amazon. It is around, I think, $6.99 for a packet of 2 rolls, but it's really lovely. It's washable, so I can just clean it with water. This has lasted for more than a year now. I also have a subsequent set, which is on my other study table, as you guys can see. So I just alternate. Now if you see this setup, that's my study table actually. That's how I do my office work, and of course I can just make shift into a art table. So that's how I've actually converted. If you see, it's my window sill. I've not even got a definite office space or definite art space. This is my window sill, and you can see that I've converted simply by putting this paper. That gives me a good advantage. And additionally, I've used certain elements to increase the aesthetics. Instagram and other social media now require a lot of aesthetics. I would highly recommend getting something like this. You get artificial succulents, you get plants. I got this from Amazon. I got these from just a local market. I also have some wooden props. I keep some pearls, some shells. Okay. that this is the latest the setup that I have. And I have a prop box. I call this my prop box, if you guys see this. So I actually keep my props in this. I have bunnies and I have all these different words and letters. So find something that works for you, because that would really help you in setting your style statement. And once you have a certain flat lay, a certain background, it kind of adds to the entire composition and makes it looks much more better. So setting a good background would really help you. These are not very expensive. You can find what works for you. And when you're setting the composition, always try and keep your angles correct. Okay, so see, if I keep it this way, now it doesn't look like a very aesthetic photo, but when I keep it this way, it's very clearly symmetrical. It kind of makes sense. So try and take your photography also in such a way that you're adding to the composition and you're highlighting the main artwork. Now if I just cover this something like this, it doesn't appreciate, or it doesn't look really that good. So see to it that you're putting enough space, that actually taking the effort to notice the composition, and that way you get maximum benefits. You can use a light background also. So in this case, if you just have a white sheet, okay, a big white sheet, that's what I used to use earlier, that's perfectly fine. Or in this case, if you like, I have a colored blue background. Let me just go to the other camera. Now as you can see, I'm just keeping this on this background and there's no natural light coming here. Here it kind of just sort of dulls it out. So taking your photographs in the right background is also very important, and at the right time. I'm just taking it against the light so you guys can see this. Now suddenly the painting looks so much more vibrant and alive. So recording your reels, recording your videos in the right natural light is very, very important. I would highly recommend trying to find some space where you can get that natural light whenever you're recording your videos. Let's now talk about the editing. So in the editing, I use two main softwares. One is of course called the VivaCut. Now this is something that I had purchased as a pro version when it was still in the lifetime deal. And it's very effective because it gives me the advantage to kind of not have a watermark. This is something that I use most of the times. I also use the InShot app. InShot is a very easy app. It doesn't require you to pay anything also. So you can actually get it, at free, and absolutely very basic to use. One of the earliest and easiest things that I would highly recommend somebody to do is also to use the Instagram reel editor. A lot of times I just go to my reel section and I in fact edit reels often in this itself. Some disadvantages may include that you do not have the exact transition options, or you have some limited capacities to zoom in, zoom out, or add those special effects. But otherwise you can just straight away do this. But these are the three basic apps that I kind of use whenever I'm working on editing. So I just explained about the apps that I use. You can even get more detailed tutorials on YouTube on how to use those apps. They're very, very simple to use. I'll also provide the links to the products that I have used so far, the Amazon links, so that in case you want to buy something, you can just feel free to use that. Additionally, if there's something that you need more information with, or if you're using some product that you suggest that we should also use, feel free to leave that in the comments so that we also get advantage of it, and it helps our viewers and the audience as well. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you still haven't. Hit on the bell icon so that you are notified for any new videos that come in. Now before we end the video, of course I'm going to answer all the questions that have been asked to us by our followers and go into detail with all those problems. So how do I get close shots? Well, I actually, like I said, I use my hand so that I can move the camera in different angles. So I usually pause after every scene. I record some part, I take my left hand, record it, and that's how I actually create these changes. And in case I need it overhead, of course I've got my tripod. I'm not putting it here right now just to show you. You guys can see that, right? So I can get an entire process as well. So I use either one of the two tripods when I want an overhead shot, but if I just want a close reel, I will just see to it that I kind of, especially for reels, this works efficiently. So you guys can see I can zoom in, zoom out, and it gives me the same advantage. So this is what I primarily use when I'm recording reels. I've already shared these apps with you all, so that's already been covered. Additionally, of course, I use natural light. I try and record everything as much as possible in the sun. I've set times, like in the daytime I try to, very early morning I try to shoot the parts where I want the sunlight coming. So deciding the time of the day of shooting also makes a lot of difference. So what I'd suggest is that, instead of trying to focus too much on the, the camera angle, set it up once you've set it up, check that it's, in focus, maybe try out a, small sample, and then concentrate on the painting. And every time you pause in between the painting, you can reassess. So do it in small segments, like especially for reels, that works really, really well. Don't try and record everything at one go. Record a small part, check it again, see how that's working for you, and that will really help. So the difference between A5 and A4 recording. So A5, as you saw, there was a lot of background that I could cover, but now when I'm looking at an A4, can you see the difference? There's hardly any space that I have. So one option is that I only concentrate on recording most of the artwork, Or second option is you can raise the tripod. So you can actually either raise the angle like this, or you can zoom out. This is the second option. I personally don't recommend this because it can distort the image, but or you can just increase the tripod size a bit, raise the tripod, and it'll make it much more easier for you. Finding the right angle is always going to be a little bit of an issue. That's only going to come once you start experimenting, trying out what works for you. I have done so many recordings, so many reels, so now I know what works best for me, and you are going to find out what works best for you only after you've tried enough. So experiment, see what is the best way that you feel works for you, and always actually start trying the left hand. It works very, very efficiently, rather than always keeping it on the tripod. If you're keeping it on the tripod, try and keep it a little sideways so that there's minimum tripod seen and more of the artwork seen, plus the angle looks more aesthetic. So these are some tricks that you can definitely use in order to improve the angle, the video of the entire artwork that you're recording. So these were some FAQs that I wanted to answer, and I hope I was able to answer some of your questions. If you guys have reached this part of the video, that means you'll have watched almost the entire video. Please drop in some hearts, give it some likes, give it some comments, share this video with other people. Guys, that's our request to you. We put in a lot of effort in order to make your work easier. Subscribe to the channel without fail. Press the bell icon. I'm reminding you again and again so that you get a notification that a video goes up any Wednesday and Sunday. So that's me, Dr. Amay Parekh from the Thinking Palette, and I hope this video really helps you to create better aesthetic videos with the right equipment in the right way.